Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we're exploring a captivating story that has held Liberia's attention for several weeks. Um, I'll say a couple of weeks. The recent arrest and subsequent detention of HIPCO headliner Bucky Ross sent shockwaves through Liberian social commentary. Some supporters and commentators argued that the artist may have been set up by a rival, while others claim his arrest has his arrest was politically motivated. Many supporters quickly concluded that Bucky Raw was falsely accused of possessing illegal drugs without fully considering the context of the case. What might have been a simple procedural error by the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency soon became a viral sensation as viewers witnessed the uncomfortable search of the rapper's residence and the heated exchanges between Boke, his associates, and the LDEA officers. The live stream also captured Boke Raw being handcuffed and taken into custody. Joining us tonight to tackle some of our toughest questions on this issue, our senior justice and law enforcement commentator, Mr. Charles E. King, senior national commentator Joseph Akwezeze, and making her debut appearance, our dynamic new co-host, Ms. Philomena Kofa. So Philomena brings to our team an extensive experience in corporate communication and social advocacy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 1847 Liberty. And I will just quickly bring you onto the stage, everyone. Oops. Okay, that's Mr. Chazi King. That's Miss Philomena Kofa. And where's our man Joseph Akwezeze? Gentlemen, welcome once again to 1847 Liberty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we will get to business. I always say this, gentlemen, this is a jack of all trades, wearing several hats, producer, cameraman, and everything. So we will, we've now introduced, so we also have Joseph Aaron, our national editor in Liberia. Okay, he he's dealing with some technical issues, so we'll get back to him. He will be joining us to provide some updates on the issue, the case, the ongoing case with the rapper Bucky Raw. Well, let's consider what I call my counter argument before we can proceed further. So let me get this going quickly. Joseph will be coming on soon. And yes, okay, so now, for the benefit of the doubt, we don't have anybody from the LDEA. We tried reaching that office for a representative to come and, give their side of the story, but to no avail. So before we proceed, I will like to play the devil's advocate, by presenting my counter arguments. So the LDEA's actions, I think, were justified and legal. While critics argue that the LDEA's methods were aggressive, supporters can counter that the agency was acting within its mandate to combat drug related offenses, as outlined under the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act of 2023. The agency followed due process by securing a court order and remanding the suspect to prison pending further legal action. No evidence of selective justice, as claimed by many, uh, can be was was seen, okay, or has been provided, I'll say. Although there are claims uh, of double standards, there is no concrete evidence that Boguero was treated differently because of his celebrity status. The same procedures would likely have been followed for any individual facing similar charges, and the judicial system is obligated to apply the law equally. Public shaming was a consequence of celebrity, not state action. The rapid spread of information and images on social media is a byproduct of Boguero's public profile. The agency cannot control how the public reacts to or shares news. Celebrity status inevitably brings greater scrutiny. The law must be upheld, regardless of public opinion. Law exists to maintain order and protect society. Now, regardless of public protests or the suspect's popularity, law enforcement agencies and the courts must operate on the basis of evidence and status and not popular sentiment. The focus should remain on the legal process, I think. The debate over fairness and institutional credibility is valid, but it should not overshadow the core legal questions. Was there sufficient evidence? Were legal procedures followed? So all of these questions can be answered by, our expert panel, today, and I will turn over to my co-host who will uh, will take it up. We'll continue from there. Sorry, uh, Philomena, over to you. But before that, let's take this brief break. Philomena.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be here tonight, especially to hear from the voice of one of Liberia's most experienced, law enforcement and criminal justice officer. I'm glad to have this opportunity. Like you rightly stated, my name is Philomena Arkofa, and I'm a corporate communication personnel and also a criminal justice person. So tonight I will be here asking all of the toughest questions to our guests, and I'm glad that he will be able to answer to these questions. So in this life, I would like to begin with this. As a law-abiding citizen that I am, I respect the law. I honestly respect the law. And I would like us to get more ideas because this is about citizen being informed and also about someone who been involved with illegal drugs and everything. So it's two-way. So we have to provide clarity for our people. At least somebody will have the opportunity to come across this life and will learn something new. So in this life, I would like to ask all of the toughest questions, like I said. So, Mr. King, um, who ideas was it to go live during the search and seizure at the residence of Bucky Road? and his subsequent arrest.
Thank you, Philomena.
Why didn't and why didn't the police stop the life once they became aware of the situation?
Well, Philomena, thank you. I understand you are a student at the AME Zion Community University. Is that correct?
Correct.
Are you aware of my involvement with them at some point in time?
I would like you to give me more idea on that.
Well, I have to first introduce that. I was the one that introduced the program at the AME Zion Community College at the time when it first started. I was the first instructor. I organized the program, although they call it the uh, Wilfred E. Clark, right? Criminal
Yes.
justice program. He didn't
Yes.
start it. He didn't start it. He was the one that sent the first batch of police officers to the program. I was the one that started the program, but they don't want to give me credit for it. And I have written about it. But that's okay. I don't want it to be named after me. I was the first instructor. I set the program up. So I know why I set the program up. And I'm happy to see that you are involved in that program as well. And we'll talk about that much later on, okay? You're most welcome to make contact with me. Now, with
Okay.
regards to the investigation, I am only using what I've read in the newspaper and what I've heard. So I'm only going to expect relate to what should have been done. As former Deputy Director of Police for CID Affairs in Liberia at the time, and worked for over 25 years in law enforcement, when an investigation is taking place and you move in with a search warrant, you have to be very cautious of who else is in that group that goes in to carry out the search warrant formalities. The reason why is the defense can always come in and say the crime scene was contaminated, or someone may have brought evidence in and dropped it there to implicate the person or the of the search. You understand? Because we're talking about an investigative matter now. I don't know what else was involved. I don't know who called the press into the issue. But the press can stand outside and look and film and do what they want to do. That's free. You can't stop a person from filming. In fact, if the press are used properly in an investigation, it can help the law enforcement. But you have to have control, and to have them going through, as I understand it, while the investigators are searching, it's a problem. It's a problem, and this is why, in carrying out the law, you must know the law. You must follow the law regarding the evidence for a drug possession. And as you should know, this is what is called the corpus delicti of the crime. The corpus delicti is not the body, the dead body. It's the elements that makes up a crime to have been committed. So one has to be very careful. Now, from me, I do not think and hope the the Drug Enforcement Agency did not call and invite the press to be present during the investigation or during this crime scene search, or they carrying out the search of a location as for by warrant. That have to be careful because the defense can use that against them. And this is all I have to say now. I hope I have answered some aspect of the question that you posed. If not, please ask me to clarify.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the response to the question. And I also like to know how many narcotics were found during the search of the single resident. the search of the single resident, and how many of them amount to a misdemeanor?
Well, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be able to answer that question because I'm not directly involved in the investigation. My purpose here is to set the record straight as to what should be done. As former Deputy Director of Police for CID, that would have been in supervising this whole program. So I wouldn't know that, and one would easily only have to look at the law. Again, remember now, a felony, a misdemeanor, they are different based on the elements of the crime, the corpus delicti of the crime. And that is the elements that makes up the crime. So we have to contact the DEA officer who is in the investigation itself. So I won't be able to answer that because I have to have access to the code of law, and the code of law has changed over the years. But the concepts are the same. It doesn't change.
Okay, let's thank you, Mr. King. Let's bring on to the stage our man Joseph Irene for some context. He's here to provide some updates for us concerning the case. Joseph. Joseph Irene, are you on? You're muted, Joseph. Joseph Irene from Liberia will provide some context. He'll, give us some updates on the case. Joseph Irene. Oh, okay. We're having some technical problem over there, but let's look at some of the key facts surrounding the arrest and detention of Bucky Raw, and how has the public narrative shaped the perception of the case. Joseph Akwezeze, can you share with us since you're in Liberia?
Yeah. First, I think with respect to the why it was aired, arrest or the search process. But one thing we got to know that we are in the teacher, and so has allowed for real-time reporting. So you can find that also in the public, the private sector. So when it comes to police operations, you see that live coverage is necessary. It addresses two things. Is that it gives unbiased situation, because in many times problems where evidence were planted, and also the perpetrator or the interested persons falsely accuse police officers for overdoing. So when you have that coverage, imagery, everyone is seeing it. It shows a clear and balanced picture. If there is the plenty of evidence, if the person lying on the police, then people will also know the truth. So I think it is understandable that operations you have nowadays in buildings, you have CCTV around and so forth, especially has to do with it, reporting back as you, especially in given authority to execute certain functions, and it has to be checked so that you don't use that function. Sometimes if there's no video evidence, you tend to lie on the so the subject will turn on or lying on you. So yes, we expect that you have body camera. I mean, revolutionized when doing Gulf War, Iraq, when U.S. forces enter Baghdad and meet or business district of Baghdad. Live recording, the camera moving around. So just turn, you see camera there. So you saw everything. So I think from that point, visualization in terms of the digital updates out of the day. So the
Okay, Joseph. I think we're having some technical issue there with Mr. Visit. Let's come back to you, Mr. King. You kind of opened my eyes to some aspect of the law, the criminal justice process that I did not know. I thought it was even illegal or improper to have a person in the area live streaming the entire arrest, the search process. But according to you, to some extent, it is not illegal. But then what lessons can we learn regarding communication between law enforcement, the media, and the public during such controversial cases?
Okay, Mr. Jesse is correct. We understand transparency. But again, the example he drew with regards to the Iraq invasion or the activity there is different. The difference here is succinct. I'm not saying he's wrong. I understand his transparency, but we have to understand that in the legal system, there is a procedure for understanding the contamination of a scene. Now, the press can go around with one person, but what is happening behind him when he's not filming the rest of the search? What is he not? They are not filming the rest of the search. Again, I'm treading lightly because Mr. Zeze is correct. Transparency is important, but by the same token, you have to remember the integrity of the crime scene. That comes first. Now, if the police, if law enforcement, and this one is an LED, drug enforcement, it's a succinct difference because at some point in time, you're going to be talking about the rules of evidence, and the person has to be prosecuted, and that will come into play. So it means that the drug officers must have training in legal concept of crime scene investigation. You see, because it's going to a trial in court. Again, I go back, Mr. Zeze is not wrong. I'm supporting him for transparency.
Yes.
But you have to be cautious because if you say the person can just come in and roam around, where else may they have been walking? They themselves, the press. Who are they? Because properly they'll say, okay, find out what was the name of the press person, what his training, what type of training he has in photography, what kind of training he has in understanding crime scene investigation. All of that comes into play before we even bring in whatever information or evidence he may be revealing. Or let me finish now. Or there are some times when filming certain aspects of a search may compromise the investigation. You understand? It can compromise the investigation. So that's why I'm treading lightly. I'm treading lightly because there has to be some general collaboration and understanding of how that evidence or how that press person will play in a final scheme of things. Mr. Zeze, come in. You wanted to say something.
Yeah. I agree with you there. With respect to the fact that operations such need to be treated because it will have to go to court and you have to follow the or what we call the criminal procedure law, step by step processes in doing sessions evidence and processing or whatsoever or that will be liable to court. Sense. where we are in a society that is, I must say this, politically charged,
Yeah.
and persons of such that are seen as opposition supporter or
Yeah.
ruling party supporter, when you
Yes.
are going to effect such a, it has to be transparent enough. Every doubt, because this person is from this side, and this person is from this side, or the other side, he's treated this way. So in that instance, for me, on-term coverage is necessary to all of the things. Then you won't have the public sentiment of it. That public sentiment rises, there will be, a counter argument vis-a-vis evidence, pictorial evidence shown that what they are saying, that they are in favor of this person or they're doing selective justice, will not be the case. So that's what I'm talking about. But it's correct, because if the law enforcement officer or the drug officer does not follow the law, the government may lose a good case
You
Yeah,
fighting drugs.
yeah. That's very important.
you're quite correct.
Yes, the transparency part is very important, and because we live in a very politically charged environment, Liberia is very politically charged these days. Everything now is about politics. There are people even arguing that Boke Raw was arrested because he supported the previous administration. He was a vocal supporter of former President George Weah and the CDC. So they can argue that somebody planted evidence in our main house. Yeah.
Mr. Taco,
So-
Mr. Taco,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
just very quickly, I would like to say
so
this
this
issue,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Zese, listen, just for a quick
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
This is not the only issue we have in Liberia, Nigeria. And according to the Criminal Justice Journal, and one where it brings in the Nigerian and Ghana, Nigeria has the highest problem also with the same political situation. And the thing about the crime investigation and solution comes in when the governments, listen carefully now, when the governments downplay the technical and investigative equipment necessary to keep the law enforcement agencies working efficiently to come across the solution of crimes. In Nigeria and Ghana, the same situation that we have here. So I just want to add that. You go on, please.
Yeah, and social media has been doing well when it comes to criminal justice, law enforcement. We saw what happened here with George Floyd several years ago. If it was not, if a passerby, were not present to film what was happening, that horrific incident that we all saw on television, the evidence may have been distorted. The police may have come up with a different narrative. So social media do play an integral role to now in today's 21st century policing and law enforcement.
As long as it is not instigated by the law enforcement. So social media from outside, anyone filming, objectivity is there.
Yes,
but the minute you have someone inviting, people to come in and look, you don't know what connection is between that agency and the person being invited in. You don't know. That's why you have to analyze and qualify that person who's moving in that with them. Are they connected?
They should have clearance. Yes.
Yes.
Clearance. Yeah.
Yes. And because it can be a collusion between the drug I'm not saying it is what's happening now, but it could be a collusion. And remember, the defense counsel is there to make sure that the state produce unbiased evidence.
Yes.
To support their case.
Okay,
So
let's
knowing that,
Philomena, what's up?
so knowing that where everyone, what a person right ends, another man rights begins from there, and knowing that Bucket Rod also have a legal right to privacy and dignity, and going live at a scene it won't interfere with the ongoing investigation, and then it also make a prejudgment with the investigation that is ongoing. It expose the victim, and it also expose confidential evidence towards the case. So my concern have been drawn to, was this whoever media person who was present, was it order from the Liberia National Police to carry on the work he was doing, or was it just a random police or random media person that just got up in the community and started going live without anyone being informed or whatever? I just want to get a clarity on that too.
Yeah, but even if I don't know exactly what happened, right? Others can argue, and I know that in my counter argument that Bogero is a public figure. Like that's what he signed up for, to be a superstar, a celebrity. So whatever that's happening to him becomes news. So it shouldn't be any surprise that his arrest is being live streamed. Because he lives in a public space. That's what he thrives on, publicity. So
and I'll also like to come from a point too. Mm-hmm. The police also have the right and the authority to stop the media people who were present from communicating or going live. They had the legal right to do that. But then if you are coming from a point where it is not a news that when Bogero was being arrested and then people had to go live, the police can, for some reason, because of confidential a reason, can easily tell whoever the media person, because the person even intrude into his compound to go live. That's how deep they went, and which the police has the right over that. So the thing is, it already created in the mind of the citizen prejudgment, and that is what we are doing right now, because we are saying that, okay, this person was found with, as far as we're concerned, we witnessed a live scene, and we saw that this was found within a place. And for those who are not informed, they will come to a conclusion point, right? So my point is, if the police intended to have gone live, it should have been from a legal stand, wherein they bring a legal communication officer from the Liberia National Police, because they also had the right, because they had with them or search and seizure as sent to be corrected to enter his premises.
But that's the drug. It's the drug enforcement, isn't it? Drug.
Yeah, the LDEA, not the police. Yeah, the LDEA.
Philomena, is it the police or the drugs enforcement?
The drug. Sorry.
Okay, so let everyone know that it's the drug. It's not the police.
Yes, it's the LDEA. Yeah.
Yes, it's the LDEA. So they have search and seizure warrant, and I know they also work point in contact with the police. So if they were there, they could have had someone or a communication person from that side, but not allowing the media to go live to create an image in the mind of the citizen. So that's
this is where Thomas, this is where I'm confused. Something that is streamed live, real-time reporting. So how will it create, or negative perception? Something you are seeing real time. Okay, I'm showing you that they are searching room A, room B, room C, and we found it in room C. Then we are seeing it live. Then they will come and say, whoever that are screaming, that will come and say, oh, the police did not, or the police did not find anything, and the police planted all the DA agents or planted the evidence. So I mean, reporting. So the only for me, I would take the part that you say there should be communication officers. Granted, the communication officers should come there, but it will be one-sided. That mean the law or implementers of the law are the ones that the only ones videotaping in the kind of society we have, especially with the subject involved.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. That would create another question of bias, right? So and I agree with Mr. King when he rightfully put it that the only thing here that could be a procedural error could have been maybe what we call evidence tampering, right? Allowing unauthorized person or journalist or blogger or anybody into the room, right? They could tamper with the evidence. But if somebody is just streaming the incident as it occurred, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. This guy's a celebrity. This is why he signed up for. Like whatever he's doing, especially when he's being arrested, that's major news. Anybody can go, can pick up their phone and stream it live, but allowing people onto the supposedly crime scene or would-be crime scene or potential crime scene, I'll say, starting to get our work, then that becomes a problem.
Mr. Sako?
Yes.
Mr. Sako?
Yes,
Philomena. I would like to hear, Philomena, what response or what comment, because we're discussing this thing at a professional level.
Yes.
What comment do you have from Mr. Zizi who asks, what impact does this have against or on the case itself? In other words, he's saying, from what I understood him to say, what impact does this have on the guilt or innocence of the suspect?
Okay, so I would like to address that question. One, what it did was it already had exposure to information against the victim, and it also created a prejudgment scene for the accused.
How?
In that case, he had a right. I'll repeat, right? He had a right to privacy and dignity.
Yeah, but how? Philomena, how does it affect that? Explain the how. How?
So this is the point I am coming from, right? So the DEA coming at his premises, right, with a search and seizure warrant. He also has his right to pride and dignity. He was accused. He is not guilty. He is alleged. But now to come within his premises and record him, they have already created a prejudgment within the public, which from a perspective, everybody could give it from a different point. And this is where I'm coming in, right? We understand and respect the proceeding of the Lord, but it also violated his right. That is the how part.
Okay. Also, the whole word, the very program you are in says what? Criminal justice system. Justice for the criminal. Most people don't understand, but the criminal justice system means just that. Justice for the criminal. So it becomes controversial, but again, I wanted Philomena, she did a very good job on that. Philomena.
Yes, thank you. And if I am following Philomena correctly, I think it would have been a violation of his rights if, say, for instance, the guy was, naked in his house. He was, engaging in something private, something that the public had no business seeing, and you allow someone to film him while he was naked or doing something private, then you can argue that his rights to privacy or his right to privacy was violated. But if nothing as such happened, then how can you say that his right was violated?
No person or place shall be searched or seized but upon a warrant by the judgment of the land. And I'm not quoting it directly, but every person's property is their privacy.
Okay.
And just because you have a court order warrant search, it does not mean it's for the public. Okay. You can come into the court of law and watch the film once it is exposed to the public. But that person has a right to privacy.
Okay.
No person, places, or things to be such or cease, but by judgment of his peers and law of the land. It's in the Liberian Constitution.
Perfect.
See? So
Yeah. So
again, it's
And some supporters are also arguing that there is a double standard because there was some other case involving some expats, and I think Europeans, or I don't know which country, that the DA seized a significant amount of narcotics, not even compared to what Bulgaria had.
yes.
They treated our case with privacy, but when it was booked, everything became exposed, in public. So people are arguing that, oh, our man was targeted. Most of his supporters are arguing that, our
But
man was targeted. It's
they can
politically
do so.
motivated. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah.
They
And so
can do so. One quick, Mr. Zizi, one quick thing. Again, all what we are talking about is if a case, and I've experienced this in Liberia and I had to correct it. If the evidence that you get is not properly followed to present your case in the court of law according to the elements, it's very important, the elements of the crime. It is not uncommon for some, quote unquote, some unscrupulous judges, some unscrupulous justice, to use that lack of proper evidence to throw the case out. And this normal people will think, oh, the man took money for it. But even if he took money, the fact is the evidence did not support that arrest. And when you go into it, you find out that the evidence was lacking. Mr. Zizi, please come in on that. Come in on what you were going to say, Mr. Zizi.
yeah,
Please.
what I want to say is that in a modern age. So let me reiterate the digital age. And so the criminal procedure law now has to be revived to commensurate with present times in terms of digital recordings, lifetime recording, and so forth. So that procedure has to be laid out to, number one, protect the evidence, and to at the same time transparency. Because today our at the penal code, and I still saw what they call criminal violence. And I have talked to law practitioners that said that only in Liberia have that law.
What law?
Criminal violence. Yeah, criminal violence, where you say some official and you are held accountable. I said seen it there, the 2023. So you see, so the procedural law has to be, criminal procedural law has to be revived, especially when it comes to the modern age. Nowadays, in public service, those of us that are in strategic planning, all plans respect your vision has elements of digitalization. Yes, because we are driving at that age. So all actions, all deliverables are centered around that. So the same thing should go to our criminal procedure law. For I have an experience during the day of child stealer. I live in Congo Town, not very far from where child stealer used to live. And this day, when we have the SOD, the Special Operation Division, then in the police. Those guys came, one day they said they're checking for arms or was it? They didn't tell us what they were checking for. But then, they would use, did the Walkman, I have my fresh Walkman out in my closet. The man to go check for whatsoever you're looking for against the law, but he took my Walkman and left. And luckily for me, I had $100 US. But the way I consider it, he didn't see it. So just imagine, see that my last $100. So now with this age, it will be very impossible because, for example, if you come in camera behind you, you just going to check for the illegal things you are looking for. If you see them, well, the law is on your side. If not, you see anything, you leave it be.
Yeah,
So, yeah, seriously.
yeah.
And so now, in this,
Yeah,
in this
our
era,
training.
the procedure with respect to protecting evidence and protecting the subject and even protecting the enforcing officer before they lie on you, it has to be recorded. But in that modification of the law, where and how and who should do such recording.
Yes, and that is very important, and I'm glad you brought that up, Joseph. The principle of maintaining integrity or fairness in administering criminal justice or enforcing the law is very important, and we can see that happening here in the U.S. The police now carry with them body camera.
Body cam, yeah.
Body camera, because there were a lot of incidents, cases where people thought that the truth was being withheld, the facts were being withheld. So for the safety of the law enforcer and the accused, it is prudent. It is the best thing to do to carry the body camera. And right now, I think it's mandatory in the U.S. for all police officers to wear body camera. So you cannot argue like you're saying. The guy stole your Walkman, and we could have even stolen your money.
They make it a little fun. Yeah, they heard me.
Yeah, so if you're wearing body camera and it is required by law, there shouldn't be any problem. Like nobody can say, "Oh, you planted evidence," like with the case of Boggy Raw. If the LDEA officers had a body cam on them, recording everything, I think that would have been, that would have made more sense, than allowing an unauthorized person into the potential crime scene. Mr. King, what's your take?
No, I'm listening very well. The body cam, correct? If I'm honest, I thought they had I thought I read somewhere that the body cam was being introduced either into the drug enforcement area or the police. I'm not sure which one, but just what Mr. Zizi and you are talking about, yes, the body cam is there. Now, if the body cam becomes defective or going on and off, again, whatever information, whatever technology we bring into our investigative fold has to stand the test of efficacy, efficiency, operationally. You see, and so we have to maintain even that the integrity. How many officers went to the crime scene? Mr. Zese, I agree with you 100%. How many officers went into the free drug officers went in? Oh, one says 6. No, there was 8. No, there was 4. No, there was 6. Right away. You do have control of the crime scene with even all these equipment. That I agree with you. Again, I think our program here, unlike other programs that I've listened to, we're not trying to pinpoint and put blame. We are actually investigating and talking about issues that are important. I've been on a program where people want to force me or try to trap me into blaming one group of people. I can't do that.
No.
I have a profession to maintain. So
Yes.
when I talk one thing, I'm talking, and Mr. Zese, he has a integrity in his field to protect, and Philomena, and you, Mr. Sako. So we're discussing things, and people should appreciate what's going on here, because we are being objective. And Mr. Zese may bring up an issue, I may bring up an issue, Mr. Zese may not agree with it wholeheartedly, but we're talking technical issues here, professionalism.
Very much so. I agree with you. Totally.
And then I'm saying, yes, it's true. I agree with you, Mr. Zese, because he says some things that are correct. I said some things he doesn't understand. He says some things I do not understand. But we're discussing it.
Yes.
Yes.
And that is what the listeners of this program should appreciate. We're not taking sides on nobody.
Yes, we
No.
are. We
Bringing
are.
up everything here.
Yes.
And I was a member, a member of the the Commission on Drugs and Narcotics in Liberia during the Talbot administration. So I know what has been happening and what efforts were taken. Go ahead, Mr. Sako. Please,
Yeah,
Mr.
and I agree with you. You couldn't have said it any clearer. We are here to find solutions to problems. We comment on the issues as they, happen. We have no interest. We have no stake in any party in a country. Our goal is to inform, enlighten, and educate people, and that is just what we're here for. And talking of that, and speaking of information and education, and I think Mr. King has made this point on several occasions that he's very passionate about this. Even our reporters in Liberia, our criminal justice reporters, they need to be trained on how to cover certain incidents, certain stories. And Mr. King is willing to lend his expertise, in that area. And I was just telling him that I'm going to try to contact some of our editors in the country so that we can provide some training for our reporters, on how they can approach some of these cases, how they can report some of these cases. It's very important, and that's why we are here. That's the whole essence of this show, ladies and gentlemen.
And Mickey, you just asked me about training, but I was doing my little research as to the status of the story. I gotta know that they discovered or they found on 31.6 kilogram of narcotics, but then it's broad. They did not go into detail whether they are cannabis, the one we call grass or marijuana or heroin. Nothing. They just made a thing broad at that. So you don't know the charge, whether they're charging illegally or not, because they just made a thing broad or narcotics. And our reporters too, from the newspaper and media, they did not go into detail to get the actual information as to what kind of from the opiate side or from the cannabis brand. So we don't know. We just say narcotics. So we just hearing from the grapevine that was marijuana. We say no, the local ones, what they call, I know whatsoever, the zombie and so forth. We don't know. They just say the man had you were found in possession of 1.6 kilogram or what narcotic, but what kind? What
kind? Yeah. We have to have
if we know the kind, if
mm-hmm.
we knew the kind and the type, coupled with the arrest and the procedure, we will say, oh, this was extrajudicial or something, or this was not. Oh, but our heroin, so heroin on the charge is a little bit different from just the ordinary or let's say the grass or the marijuana. Nothing, just say the narcotics in a general or not sure.
Now remember, this is why it's important. I have to come in now.
Okay.
Not to say anything against what my colleague Mr. Zeze has said, but to say there are certain times when releasing certain information may conflict with an ongoing investigation of sorts. And it may not be prudent to state what type of narcotics. Now, you see, let me say something briefly here. If I was trying to be what? Let me take Mr. Zizi's side, because here I only seen program. I can't do so. I will be doing an unfairness to him and all the listeners. So I have to come in as a professional and say there are some cases when releasing the type of narcotics may interfere with an ongoing extensive investigation that's going on. So the officers will just say narcotics. Maybe there's a particular type of narcotic that they are investigating and trying to get hold of the persons who are bringing it in. So I'm just saying, Mr. Zeze, that can be a case sometimes, but I cannot say what you're saying is wrong.
Yeah.
You understand? And this is why I like, and I think we all appreciate this. I'm bringing in something that is important, but at the same time, Mr. Zeze, you're correct. What type of narcotics? But this is why it may not have been released. But at least you know, you see. So this is what the officers, the investigators can say, not the investigators, the reporter can say, well, what type of narcotics is this? Well, we are not going to tell you. At least there's a reply.
Yeah,
Instead
of
of just
course. Yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah.
narcotics. You see, then you wonder, with me as a law enforcement personnel background and others around the world, well, did he ask? Did the reporter ask?
Yeah,
You
question,
see,
yes.
he didn't ask. He just said narcotics. But then what type? As you're saying, he didn't ask. Took be given a reply. This is why in journal in investigative reporting, the journalist and I in investigation uses the same points: who, what, when, where, why, and how. 5 W's and 1 H. That's the
Yes.
basis of investigation.
Ask all the questions, you know. Yes.
Yeah.
We have my 6 faithful friends. They tell me all what I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Zeze, I agree with you. Those are other incidences that could create them not telling you. But they press people to ask the person,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
type of narcotics?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Then the law enforcement can say, okay, no, but for that, we will reserve that. Okay.
Quite
Yeah,
correct.
it's understandable, but
Yes,
everybody
sir.
say that narcotics. So as a result, people got different versions. Some
You're
people
quite
say that
correct.
this one, some people say that this one. In fact, because of the little one that occurs around, they say, then they had it on video, this, that, and the other one, because you see, because the information was scanty.
You're
And the
quite
journalist did
correct.
not ask. I agree with you, Mr. King, the journalist did not
Yeah.
ask a question.
Yeah.
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 As deputy director of police at the time, we investigated drugs, narcotics, all kinds of crimes. So you are quite correct, sir. Go on, Mr. Sako.
Yeah, gentlemen, I want you to build on that. You know, I want you to help me with this one. I'm thinking about the broader implications for privacy and due process, especially when, you know, we have social media involved, when cases like these are, you know, like this one, are live streamed. What are the implications, the broader privacy implications?
Go ahead, Mr. Zeze, please. I will I will follow you.
Yeah, Mr. Sako, come again with a question.
Yeah, I'm looking at the broader privacy implication. Like, it is okay to be transparent and what have you, but what about privacy? You know, when you are live streaming, when you are videotaping everything.
Yeah, you see, there is tricky.
Mm-hmm.
The man has his privacy, but when it comes to law enforcement, where other in the immediately on the long run, it will pose a danger. That privacy has to be breached, especially through a legal means. Yes, through you may have a privacy, and one problem I have is that when people are being educated as to the rights you have, but not much emphasis is placed on where that right ends. I'm not saying not much emphasis is placed on where that right ends. We have the right to assemble, we have the right to protest. But of course, yes, but where does that end? It really, really emphasized. So this is where we have the problem. All the man knows he has his right to his privacy, but he's not educated as to when does that privacy right or that right to a privacy end. And then when it comes to law enforcement, it has to do with criminal matters.
Yeah.
Yes,
Philomena, sorry, thank you very much. Mr. King, you wanted to come
I
in?
just,
No,
I just
I
wanted
wanted
to just
Philomena
before
to
Mr.
come in.
King come in,
Philomena, thank you. Come in, Philomena.
I just wanted him to continue to
Okay.
tell us, yes, where he end and whoever owns start from where and where he ends. Let he just continue from where he was.
Okay, now the law has to determine.
Okay.
Yeah, this is where your right ends, and the person has to be made aware of that in terms of privacy or whatsoever right. Because
Yep.
remember that law enforcement is law enforcement, or let me say, lawful law enforcement is for everybody's interest. So if your privacy will have to end for the interest of the nation, it has to happen, but it has to go through.
So, if the privacy ends because of the nation, just the way you put it, then does that also means that is it not violating the right of another person to? Because in implementing the law, you also have to know you can be implementing the law at the same time and violating the law of the right of another person. So I just also want to know, like you're saying, right? If your right to privacy or dignity will have to end or put on stop to nation this and that, is it not also violating his right? Okay, I also want to get a clarity on wherein the LDA enter the home of Walker Rock, popularly known, and say, okay, we are recording, and the reason we are recording is because this case involved or in legal activities. And then Walker Rock said no. Within that
Yeah,
case, yes.
yeah.
What do you
Remember,
say? Yes.
yeah. Remember, I said that if you are law executing the law, that will be required. You make an announcement, you show your warrant, and we are recalling and so forth. I was saying, it's not because you have a right and criminal investigation is going on, and to intertwine with that right should not be seized. No, that right should be seized according to law. So it is left of us to determine the law with respect to this age now, to conform with existing reality. So, so criminal matters preserve life, property, yourself, and for others. So it's because of your right that would for me is not justice. It's not. It just have to be with the law that your right will have to carry on an investigation that supported or those of others.
Okay, okay,
I hope I
Mr.
have answered that. Yeah, I think Mr. King can.
Philomena,
Yeah.
Philomena,
Yeah.
Mr. King, I'm here.
you asked a question about where the rights. Now, we all know that in order for any person's rights to be denied or challenged on both sides, it has to go to the Supreme Court. The courts of law are the areas that would determine the rightfulness or wrongfulness of law enforcement rather than specifically saying drug and law enforcement officers' actions. So if there is a uncertainty with regards to the filming of the warrant search, if the defense brings that up in the court of law, it has to go to decided by the court. And this is why, again, one more step is you have case laws that the police, the law enforcement community may not be aware of the case laws that exist in Liberia that restricts their operation. For example, and I'm going to bring this in. I hope this everyone can hear me.
Yes.
Remember when there was a case in the Supreme Court not related to law enforcement, but impacts law enforcement. And this is why I keep on saying constitutional law, criminal law, rules of evidence. You have to understand this thing as a law enforcement officer. When the Minister of Justice, the former Minister of Defense, Somokai, was taken to the Supreme Court because he took the president of Liberia, Salif, told him to okay to take money from a certain fund to use it in another era. Do you all remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He acted on the authority of the president, but the Supreme Court said he was wrong. He cannot do a violation of the law even when he has been informed by his superior. Now, you say to me, well, Mr. King, how does that affect law enforcement? It affects law enforcement because it says if your superior is giving you a wrong order, illegal order, you will be held responsible and liable for your actions, not just the inspector general of the DEA or law enforcement agent told me to do that. If it's illegal, you're responsible. They'll hold you responsible. So in this case, I only brought that up to say it was a decision of the Supreme Court. So even though that case was not connected with law enforcement, the fact that as a law enforcement officer in the criminal justice system, Ms. Philomena, you have to look at all the court cases that go through the Supreme Court and itemize those areas that affect you as a law enforcement officer, informing them of their rights. It's in the Liberian Constitution. I had to get my officers to understand those things or else we lose cases. So again, this question about whether or not it's legal or not, it will eventually go before the Supreme Court through the different stages if it is raised by the defense, and we will have to listen to what the Supreme Court says. And once they say make a decision, that's law, case law. We got to follow it.
Yes, it also have to be clear that the LDA cannot act as a paparazzi. Yes.
As a what?
Paparazzi.
Okay.
Oh, paparazzi?
Yes, we call them paparazzi or whatever. Yes.
All right.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
We also have to get that clear because the thing is, it also violates, professionalism, and to be right, it also violates the due process. Yes, and it just gives out, information to the public that the public should not have, details too, especially when a case is just, it's not even been turned over to the first phase, the police. Yes. So these are all steps that the LDA wrongfully proceeded in, and what they were doing at job, we respect that as a citizen, but they also, I would say, acted unprofessionally and violated the right of the rapper.
Okay, that's a good point to make. And ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking more about what should have been done, what ought to be, and what the police or LDA officers failed to do. But then, how can we correct all of these errors? All right, what reforms could we implement to improve the public's trust in the legal and law enforcement processes in similar high profile cases? Because now the public sentiment is through the roof right now. Everybody is claiming that this guy, it was unfair, he was treated this way because he has some affiliation with the opposition party. A lot of sentiments going around, but how do we balance, the facts from the sentiment, and how can we improve from the errors that we see, the procedural errors on the part of the LDA officers?
What I want to say, Mr. Zese Philomena, may I kick it off?
Yeah.
Go ahead, you are protected.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
And I have to go back to what we used to do as when I was assistant director of police for administration. I used to go to the evening schools along the Capitol bypass. I used to go to the evening schools and talk to them about joining the law enforcement community. I used to go in my uniform. I used to have a special time when I would talk to them. They would ask me questions, and I would encourage them to come together so we can inform them about basic understanding about law enforcement and understanding about the rule of law. I also used to do this in my private company when I was out of government. Excuse me. And I used to train my officers, private officers, about the respect for the rules of law. When I was at the police academy training, I used to stress the rule of law, professionalism, their rights and responsibilities. When I was at the CID, listen carefully, I used to make sure that every officer that investigated a crime made sure to inform the suspect of their rights, to explain their rights to them, and to make sure we had a system. No case was ever sent to prosecution unless we had proper evidence. And I held my officers accountable. I had them held accountable for what they were responsible for. I showed them the respect for the rule of law when one of the magistrates sent to the CID to produce the body of such and such a person, and they called the director, the deputy director of police for CID affairs and all the other officers. Who was the deputy director of police at that time? I was. I didn't sit there and say, forget the judge. I told my officers, I said, you receive a document from the court, get the documents and let's go. They said, Director King, the other people didn't used to do so. I said, well, now other people, we got to respect the rule of law from the head. Because today is somebody else. Tomorrow it could be you or me. It was a writ of habeas corpus. They wanted us to come and bring the body of the person we had arrested. So I got all the officers who were connected with the case, got the documents. We went to the judge chambers. When we got outside, the clerk was nervous. I said, please tell the judge that the deputy director King is here. He was scared to come outside. He was confused. They said, so he opened the door and he stuck his head and said, what's wrong? I said, but you sent for us, Your Honor. He said, who, me? I said, yeah. He said, but all the other times I used to send, no one ever came. I said, well, this is a different administration. I respect the rule of law. You see, when you show your officers that you conform to the rule of law, then you will encourage them to follow. So we showed all the documentation and the judge said, go ahead, you're all right, because you already turned it over to the prosecutor. You're not responsible. Because you have to cite an example of everything you do, not because you're a member of a party, and they will quickly find this out. They do these things because you're not acting straight in law enforcement. You're taking sides. You're not acting professional. That's why they say, oh, you're a member of so party, or you're taking, that's why they do that. If you remember your code of ethics, which is, as a law enforcement officer, my fundamental duty is to serve mankind, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception, the peaceful against violence and disorder, and to respect the constitutional rights of all people to liberty, equality, and justice. I recognize the badge of my office as a symbol of public faith and to be held only with trust if I am true to the ethics of the police service, dedicating myself before God and to my chosen profession, law enforcement. If you understand this and recognize it within yourself, you cannot be worried about who's going to say that you're doing something partial, that you're being partial. And Miss Philomena, this is a basic standard. You got to have it in you. You know, I wasn't reading it from anything. And you know from the code of ethics. And there's two others in between. I will never act officiously or allow my personal favor to interfere with my judgment. It's there. I'm not going to go on because we know it. And you, Philomena, you know I know it. But what I'm trying to say is this is how we have to start. We have to educate our officers and then educate the public. Educate them through the school system. Educate them through the adult programs in the community. Get out there in the community, and you have a public service person in law enforcement. Get out there and talk to them about what their rights are. Let them know what it is. And
Right.
things like I'm going to shut my mouth now and let Zizi, Mr. Zizi, and Miss Philomena go here and add to it. You know
Thank
me,
you
when
very much.
I go
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you
King. I
so
mean,
much for your
everything was well
contribution.
taken. You're straight on point. I mean, everything is makes yeah, a lot of sense, and that's what our people, our law enforcement officers, should be doing, ought to be doing. I hope they're listening to you. I hope people would take your advice very seriously.
Let Philomena go ahead and Mr. Zizi, please don't
Philomena,
hide.
Philomena, from a perspective of a prospective law enforcement officer or law enforcement professional, what's your take?
I value all of that. I truly value, and these are just the rightful recommendations and reforms that we need as a people and as government in order to set policy proceeding, and in order to support people human rights, we have to educate them. Grassroots, like he stated, grassroots education is very important because people are in school but they are not informed of these things. How do we get to them? We have to do the door-to-door steps. And we also have to train our DA officers, even our national police, on the rightful proceeding. It is important because sometimes they make government lose cases because of the wrong proceeding that they take along the way. So I salute you, Mr. King. I respect the professionalism, and I like the way you place everything, and I would like to see you on the platform always to give us more insight. I really value the opportunity.
It's very kind of you. Thank you. Very,
One more time for Mr. King.
oh, no. Thank you kindly. It's very kind of you. Very kind. Mr. Zizi, very kind.
Thank you, Philomena. That's a now from the perspective of a public policy expert, Mr. Zizi.
Yeah. Again, Mr. King, Philomena, yes. I mean, I agree with both of you, especially Philomena went further, but maybe a way that we could conduct the trainings, for example, or administration police administration or law enforcement authorities training is that, human behavior is dynamic. I mean, it changes from time to time, environmentally or whatsoever it is. So as a result, all cases involving such, remember the police and the Muslim woman, the way it was handled and how it blew up proportions. So
Yes.
all of those scenarios, those cases, you go and train police as a found the right way to the right approach over time. Don't say when you get it first training, say 2 years ago, that's the same situation you will meet now. No. So there should be continual. Look at those cases, look at the recallings and see what was the issue that brought it to
Yes.
out of proportion and to find the best way. Now again, the civics education for schools, the case, because they have to be nurtured. Now our say when they talk about the constitution, but at least there should be some portion that will discuss the criminal procedure law and rights. And I should also add, is you also emphasize on where your right ends to allow for investigation whatsoever. So I
Yes.
think that's my take about this.
Uh, thank you very much. But let's do
Mr.
our
Taco, Mr.
yes,
Taco,
yes, please,
Yes.
please.
for your information, my wife and I went to a program once,
Mhm.
and a gentleman came up to me. I didn't know him. He
Mhm.
asked me if I remembered him. I said no. He said that I went to one of their school programs, and he heard me talk, and the information I passed on to him way back there in the 80s, the early 80s, late 70s and early 80s. He said he still remember it, and he came to thank me and shook my hand. I never knew him. Ever since then, it was just here maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So you never know what impact you have to people. And he was in a classroom, school, and he couldn't be more than 30 years old now. Or
That's impressive.
maybe something like that. I don't know.
That's
But
impressive.
just to show you the impact, I said, you remember me? He said, I remember you very well. You came in and talked to us in the class. You were in your uniform. I said, my goodness. Did I do well? He said, yes, sir, you did well. I said, well, thank goodness.
That's a good legacy. That's part of your legacy, and we appreciate you for that. Your contributions are valued. I mean, that's just a testament to the good work that you continue to do, and we thank you for that, sir. An outstanding citizen. Yes. But before we go, let's be fair to our followers who have been following and trying to connect with us, but we haven't been paying attention to them. So let's read some of their comments, and maybe there are questions that our panelists could address. One John Mawolo what is he saying? He said, was he selling narcotics? I think he's referring to the rapper Bucket Raw, or smoking dope. That's a question, because for the DEA to waste all that resources on a handful of dope for personal use is wrong. The agents of the DEA must be very intelligent and apolitical. If they start letting politics push them around, they will lose credibility. Gentlemen, that's a comment from one of our followers. What can you comment on that?
Philomena, please.
Yeah.
It's on the screen. It's on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. That's Mr. John Mawolo commenting from Facebook.
Go ahead, Philomena.
Philomena, you're muted. Philomena is muted. Maybe she's having a static image over there, or picture. Can any of you go, Joseph? So the guy is talking about fairness. He's talking about the credibility of the DEA officer. Yes.
Yeah, but according to the All Africa news magazine, he said he was caught in possession. I mean, they did a search at his residence, and he was caught in possession of these narcotics. But it did not go further whether he was smoking at the time, or he was selling, and they caught him selling. No, so they had a warrant to go and search his house. So from all looks of things, they were acting on intelligence and so forth. Yeah. So yeah, there's nowhere we can determine. There's no way to know that he was caught smoking or selling, or he was found in possession. Yeah, that's the right way. Yeah.
Yeah, but the law did not limit it to only smoking it or consuming it, but possessing it. Yeah. So I hope Mr. Mawolo, you're getting that clarity. Let's see what Mr. King can add to that.
Well, I agree with regards to what the law states. This is what I said earlier. What the law states. If it says possession of a certain kilogram or weight of a certain drug is not illegal, then you follow it. If you are in possession, you have to look at what the word possession means. According to the case, according to the statute, what it means. If the statute says this is illegal to possess, and you follow the elements of the crime, the elements of the charge, then the DEA people were right to do what they did. They have to conform with the law. And you notice I'm being very careful not to explain what the law is, but because you have to look at the elements of the crime. So I agree with Mrs. Izzy right there. And
yes,
if the crime says that, that's it.
Thank you
then
very much.
When the police officer, when the law enforcement officer makes a decision not to do something, then you say he's being partial.
Yes, thank you very much. And thank you to our follower, Tom Mawolo from Facebook. Good point. We appreciate you for that. Now we have somebody here is saying something. There's no claim, but we'll read it out. So well, but unfortunately for now, Pa. This administration is our worst in terms of lawlessness. That has no claim. I don't know how you can back that up. Give us facts, ladies and gentlemen. Don't just make any kind of accusation. This show is not where we do that. We do not. There's no name calling here. There's no, there's no attempt here to pull anybody down. We're not bringing people down. We're not, accusing people without any proof. So, yeah. So another person say that is Mr. Anthony W. Gay Sr. from Facebook. He said those days police had a moral in Liberia. Coach King is a product of ethical policing. So Coach King, that's a shout out to you from one of our followers.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, good
As
job.
long as
Coach King
Mr.
is
Tiso-
still-
as long as Mr. Tiso is smiling on that one for me, then I agree. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's
Mr.
from Mr. Anthony Gay. And then another supporter is saying, impressive, Philomena Kofa. That's a shout out to our own Philomena Kofa. Shout out. Good job. And then very quickly, we gotta go, but we'll have to do our followers some justice, make it engaging. This is Mr. Brooks, James Brooks. He said, Madam, I beg to disagree with the concept on what is the problem. Okay, sadly, she's not here to answer.
Well, let him say, what is the problem?
That's the problem. You have to
Let
say.
him explain. What is the problem?
Yeah, I know you said.
So if you're still following Mr. James Brooks from Facebook, that's from YouTube. He's following from YouTube. That's good. Please give us a detail. Give us detailed questions so we can address them.
Yes.
Yeah. So another person, Brooks he's on fire. He's still going on YouTube, following from YouTube. He said people in our various sectors are fully trained and aware of these laws and issues.
Which sectors? Which sectors? No.
That's Mr. James Brooks from following from YouTube.
What are the various sectors? Like what? What are the sectors he's talking about? Please,
Mr.
this is
Mr.
what we
Brooks,
like. Please, bring
Mr.
it.
Brooks, if you are listening, can you please elaborate? Mr. Brooks, if you are listening, can you please elaborate?
Yeah, definitely. That's what we like. We like to hear the question.
Yeah, and then Mr. Mao from Facebook is back. He's directing this to Mr. King. He said Mr. King and his likes should write the new training manual for the security forces, training and get paid harmoniously for it, or handsomely for it. I beg your pardon. He said this is what our security officers need. So he's suggesting that you come up with some training manuals.
Unfortunately, Mr. Mawalo, I have made my offer so many times in the past. Nobody picks it up. So I've made that offer, and not even to be paid. I've made that offer for free. They still don't want it. So I've done all of that, my brother. They don't want to listen because they feel if you ask somebody from outside, it means that they don't know. So that's how it is in Liberia. Unfortunately, fortunately for me, I was trained by people at the police academy in the 60s. James Fokpa, Joseph Gabriel Golakajo, Peter Y. Wilson. Those were staunch men and women. Edna Mason Ford. Those were staunch people who trained me in discipline at the police academy. They taught me to be what I am today. I'm nobody without them. And they taught me.
Yes,
but the people today, they don't want to learn from nobody else. So what I would do.
Everybody knows everything. Everybody is an expert in everything now. So
yeah.
Coach King, will you do a lay proposal, send it to the administration, the police administration?
No.
Buying it, on training is that just intent.
No, man. It would just be a waste of my time.
You never try, you never know. But hey, let's get some more comments from our supporters who are actively following on all platforms, from Facebook to YouTube. This is very encouraging, gentlemen. This one is coming from one Fumba Okenie. He's encouraging followers to leave their comments on this platform. He's saying that snippets for Monday, December 22nd presentation of OK News Net. So he's saying, followers should leave their comments, so snippets of those comments can be read on the local radio station in Liberia, OK FM. Oh, that's a good one. Thank you very much. Then Mr. Brooks, who is on fire today, by the way, we need to he need to wear he need to get a prize from us. Yeah, a Christmas gift. So he said poverty, lack of patriotism, and poor culture of decline. But I don't know the context of that. So please elaborate. Then he said in Liberia, he comes again, Mr. Brooks from YouTube. He said in Liberia today, people view party loyalty over national loyalty. This is another big problem we are faced with. I couldn't agree more, sir. Yes,
so
it's all about partisanship. Yep.
I-
So, yeah. Philomena,
from
please.
the guy who was asking if he was caught.
I'm sorry.
So I just wanted to a little bit just talk about the guy who make a comment about was he a drug dealer or he was caught or he was allegedly smoking, and he placed a question some other
Yeah,
way.
he wanted to know. Yeah, I remember that. He wanted to know whether Bucket Raw was caught in the act of smoking or consuming the illegal drug or whatever substance it was. That's the question he
And
asked.
according to the information being read after he was caught and was taken to the police station and everything, and it was said that allegedly he was found with 31 kilograms of drug. I stand to be corrected.
Mm-hmm.
And possessing that quantity of drugs is show
Mm-hmm.
intent to distribute.
Okay.
Yes. And then it also shows that that person is also allegedly or trafficker with the quantity. Yes, it's a huge quantity. 31 grams is now a small, especially the kind of a drug that he was having in his possession. So we have to make this kind of thing clear to the public so they will be informed. He was not taking, or let me just say, or minimum of half gram or something, 31 gram. It also tells you that this person somehow is in some form of distributing this.
Yep.
So whether I also want to make it clear to the guy, I'm not trying to be biased in a situation, but whether the person is a star or he was taken at whom the law is the law. Nobody is more citizen, the law remains the law. If you are caught doing or committing an illegal act, you must face the law. And whatever penalty it comes with, that's it.
That's a good one.
It should be for everyone, not today. The other person is portrayed this way, and the next
For,
time,
for everyone. We don't do selected justice.
Yeah, but there have been accusations, selective justice.
And the reason why all those accusations
the judge that these accusations are not true or are not so.
So all these accusations came about because the case was not given a due process. So people already have that prejudgment in the case because it was already publicized to the public. So that's it. The public already consumed the information.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We have to go. It's getting really interesting. Our supporters
Any more comments?
Are engaging. Not anymore for now, but I have an update from Liberia, and I would like to just give this this update, and then we can think about wrapping up. So the legal, our man Joseph couldn't join us due to some technical problems. So we will just take this. The legal status of the Liberian rapper Kwakodu Cole, popularly known as Bucky Raw, remains unclear. He recently posted a thank you message to fans on his social media and page and appeared in photos with fellow artists, fueling speculation that he has been released ahead of his December 27 concert tagged The Return. However, no verified news outlets or official sources have confirmed his release. In addition, under Liberia's Controlled Drugs and Substances Act of 2023, only drug dealers, cultivators, and manufacturers are explicitly denied bail. Since Bucky Raw was reportedly found with 31.6 grams of narcotics, his eligibility for bail is or was fully dependent on whether the court classified him as a consumer or a dealer. This distinction, however, remains publicly unconfirmed by verified news outlets. So that's the update from Liberia. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were wondering, that's the latest update we have concerning the controversial case. Somebody, Philomena, were you trying to say something to contribute something before I took over?
No. It's okay.
Oh, okay. All right. And Mr. King was wondering if there were any more comments. Let me see. Okay, there's one one more comment. I'll say two. This one looks funny. Mr. John Marolo is saying, so are they go to arrest all the Zogos?
And I would just make a clarity on that.
No, you said he asked if they're going to arrest all the Zogos.
Yes, and I want to speak to that.
Please, yeah.
All right. Are they going to arrest all the Zogos? That's his question. So this is the reality. You can say because every other citizen in the country is breaking the law. So until they catch everybody, the law should take effect.
Good point.
If you are caught in the process, the law starts with you. That's it.
Yes.
So we will not go after all the Zogots. But if you are caught in the process, the law starts with you.
Yes. And to build on that, Bucky Raw is a leader in his own right. A lot of young people look up to Bucky Raw. He's a role model. He's supposed to be a role model. He's supposed to set good examples. So you cannot compare him with the Zogos because the Zogos are, consuming drugs and nothing is being done to them. So Bucky Raw is, equally so Bucky Raw must, consume drugs and go free. So you cannot, that's not a good example as a celebrity, someone with huge following. You have to set examples. And when this drug campaign even started, I understand that Bucky Raw was one of the people in the forefront advocating, for stronger measures against people who were importing drugs in the country. So he shouldn't be, the one to be involved in something that he was advocating against. So just to build on what you're saying, a good point, Philomena. Good point. There is one more from YouTube. James Brooks. He's saying Alpa asked about what are the various sectors. Example: judiciary, legislature, and the executive, including stakeholders from political parties, traditional leaders, youth, etc., etc. I really don't know where he's from.
Yes, because he asked a question earlier and said the various sectors were not educated in a particular era. So we asked him, what are the sectors? And I want him to also include, sometimes I hear the government ministers and the government legislatures and the legislators complaining about something. And sometimes you hear them say, the government should do this. The government should do that. The government should. They are the government. They seem to forget. I've heard legislators and senators say the government should do this, but they're the government. And I hear the minister say, "Oh, the government should do it," but they're the government. It would appear that they take themselves separate from the government, but they are the government. So you now, Mr. Brooks, I appreciate what you stated, but you are one of those who are responsible for what's happening in the nation today because you vote. You are one of those out there, and I'm not saying you accusing you. I'm not doing that. I'm saying the responsibility lies on the citizenship. You are out there when you hear someone being confirmed or being appointed, so you clap your hand and right away that man's a good man. You don't know nothing about that man. You know nothing about what's happening. So get involved. Become involved in the in the election process. Become involved in finding out things about a person. And if you feel that he is not proper for it, say something. But don't sit down and be quiet. Say something just because he's from your township or he's from the same tribe or he speaks the team. It means nothing. They can still lie. No man,
Yes.
just because he speaks a particular dialect can't lie. Please.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You have to say something. So what the sector is you. You are one of the sectors. What are you doing to when you're on the internet? If you're not in Liberia, and let's say you in the diaspora, if you're on the internet and you see people trying to say something, don't just sit down and let somebody turn around and cuss the person. Tell the truth. Interject with the person. Say, what you cussing the man for? Listen to what the man has to say.
Yes.
But this is what goes on the internet. People who are talking and being patriots, someone will come up and say, oh, that man, he's so. But how you just criticize the man like that? So you are part of the sectors, quote unquote. You are the sectors. Do something about it. Say something about it. Support programs like this. Get out there and send people to come to this station to listen to people who are brought on by Mr. Sako here. Listen to people who are discussing things, not trying to throw the support for one another. Because you see right here, you, Philomena, Mr. Zeze, myself, we're all talking something. We're not taking each other's side. We're talking professional talk.
Yes, sir.
So let's send more of these things around. So let more people listen to us. If you got friends in the government, let them listen to us. We're not like those other programs that you can hear people just pushing a fire here and there to blame somebody.
Yes.
Tell your people, throw this thing around. So next time Mr. Sako has thing, get 50 more people to come in and join and ask us questions. Even your government officials. Let them ask us questions. We'll educate them. We'll get them ideas.
Yes, and that's part of their civic, responsibility. To add on to what you're saying, Mr. King very well said. That is the point. We always complain about the government is not doing this, the government is not doing that. But hey, who gave them the power?
There you go.
We the citizens, empower them to do whatever they're doing, and we have the same power to demand transparency and accountability. And then we feel like they're not living up to the expectations that we had for them before giving them this power or placing them, giving them the authority to govern. We have the same power to remove them from office.
And Mr. Sako,
office again. Yes.
And Mr. Sako, also when they come with the rice and the oil and the fish, say thank you with the mattress and pay but thank you for that very much. But what about so and so? What about this?
Yes.
You thank you, you bring it, but what about our school system? What about our children? When you call, you say come behind us, come go march. Say we will go march, but we won't go to school first. Can't send us to school.
Yes, that's
be behind them to send them to school, but no. You want when they bring the fish. I understand the economic situation. Take the rice, take the food, take the babe, take a thank you, but then send us to school. That's what we want.
Yes,
Stop
sir.
it. Hey, man.
Yes. So this will be the final one. We gotta go. Another one from Brooks. Brooks, man, we need to contact you. You deserve recognition and something. He said, "I am so impressed to see Liberians having a frank conversation fairly." Yeah, I think he's impressed by the manner, the level of civility. He's seeing being displayed here on our show. That's a good one. Thank you very much, Mr. Brooks. Continue to follow. We're counting on guys like you, our partners. Spread the word. Let more people come and listen, because that's the reason we're here, to provide the information to help you, the citizens, to become fully equipped, with the necessary tools that you need to evaluate your leaders thoroughly before electing them. And when they're in power, demand accountability from them.
Yes.
Yes, yes, for their actions and their inaction. So that's the purpose of this show. So like Mr. King was saying, we are not like those other shows where people are just singing praises, on the president so they can be recognized and get a political appointment. No, that's not why we're here. We're not interested in political appointments. We're not interested in becoming in seeking elected office in the country. Our goal is to educate our people, to inform our people, to strengthen our civic engagement process. To encourage people to stand up for their rights, to demand accountability when necessary. Yes, that's what this show is all about, and we're counting on you. Thank you very much. This guy, he doesn't seem to be going soon. So he said, "Congratulations, guy. I appreciate you all. I appreciate of you for this way to go. Thank you so much, sir." We will take parting comments very quickly, gentlemen. This has been very, very interesting, very engaging. This is what we want. We want more of this, gentlemen. Closing statements.
All right, should I go first? Okay, so for my parting statement is that I would like to express my thanks and appreciation to the hosts and organizers and those of us that participated in this show to give our frank and saber opinions on the issue of the fight against drugs and the procedure in which our or the law enforcement or the drug enforcement officers should follow. So it was a rewarding one, and as a listing, I learned a lot too. So once more, I say thank, and also to our people that have the authority to fight drugs. Listen to some of the things we are saying. People have the ideas and they want to train, and please open up so that our country can be better. This is about Liberia. It's not about Mr. King or Philomena or me. No, or Sako, but it is about the country. So we should listen and learn from each other, and also transfer the knowledge sharing, and people also at the authority end should receive it in good faith and improve upon it, so that legacies can be followed from ages to come.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zizi. Mr. King.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Sako and Mr. Zizi. I really enjoyed it. And this is this is what stimulates me also, because I teach this, and I'm very impressed with Miss Philomena with the program. And I want you to get in touch with Mr. Sako so he can give you my contact information. As I said, I set up that program at the AME. When it first came to Liberia, it was a community college. And Mr. Umoja didn't have anything about law enforcement or criminal justice. So I said to him, "Why don't we have a criminal justice program here?" He said, "Well, I never thought about it. Do you want to set it up?" I said, "Yes, I will." So I set it up for him. I contacted all the different departments, and I served as his first instructor. I was the chairman of that department. And I put the group together, and I gave the first training program there. And I also dedicated I think it was 100 or 150 books on constitutional law for the Liberian law enforcer. Now, it wasn't no hard copy. I had my own printing machine, memograph machine. I did everything by hand, no computer expert. And I did
Yeah.
all my research of the Supreme Court cases that affected law enforcement officers. And that's what I started to train with. So I did all this. And Director Clark, when we came up, of course, the last program I gave was just before I left, when the war was coming to Liberia now inside the city. That's when I left, so I stopped. And throughout the years, they never even recognized me nowhere in the documentation. And I talked to Mr. Ujoma before he died, and I have a recording where he said, Mr. King, if it wasn't for you, we would not have had it. And when they had an orientation here to honor Reverend Umoja, he stood up in the meeting. He had conference in America, and he said, I was sitting on the stage with certain group of people, and he said to the group, he said, for those who are in criminal justice, they put their hands up. He said, if it wasn't for Mr. King, you all would not have no criminal justice program. And they heard this. And not one of those people would write back and say anything on my behalf. That's how treacherous some of our people are. They heard him. And when I wrote them and said, did you hear it? Yeah. But not one of them would read the program, read the literature from the AME Zion Community College, now a university, to say, but we don't see anything about Mr. King here. So they gave me an honor. But what did they honor me for then? If they, you gave me an honor here, but in Liberia, you mention my name. So what you honor me for? Because they're afraid to tell the truth.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, number one, Philomena, I'm very impressed with your way to express yourself, and you're learning something well. Mr. Sako, please give her my contact so we can talk more. I would like the listeners to really, really send in your comments and also send this information to this program to your people out there, because we mean something. None of us here want anything. I don't want nothing from your people, but we really want to educate you as to what should be to help you grow the society, to help you develop and understand the morality, the drop down, the degeneration of our society. People don't know the difference between right and wrong, or they don't want to recognize the difference between right and wrong. Look how we
I don't
treat
want to recognize.
one another. So this is a program here. We will not give you no gloves over nothing. We will talk the facts to you. And the minute we start, listen carefully, the minute we start or I start moving away from the facts, tell me I no good and move me from the
Take us to task. I agree. Take us to task if you see
Yeah.
that we're, going, and we are
And Mr. David, thank you
drifting
very
away
much.
from the facts. Yep.
Thank you very much for your input also into the law enforcement community concepts. All of us appreciate. This is how I learn. This is how we learn. We exchange back and forth information and clarify things here and there. That's what makes us grow. And if we in Liberia can't grow, we finish as a nation. We finish
Exactly.
as a nation.
Yes.
And I'm going to bring on and introduce to Mr. Sako, Miss Yaya, Miss Kyle Famule. Kyle
Yes.
Yaya Famule. Oh, she is a phenomenal young lady.
Okay.
She
Very
was
good.
good. Oh, she's phenomenal.
Very good. Very good. We look forward to meeting Ms. Cow.
Thank you.
I understand she's a historian. Yes, or we're looking forward to that, connection. Thank you very much, Mr. King. I don't know how to say thank you. We appreciate you for all of the insightful, analysis and all of your contribution to you and Mr. Zizi too. Thank you so much for your contribution, Mr. Zizi. We appreciate all the sacrifices you continue to make for this show. We want to let you know that your efforts are not going unnoticed. We appreciate you. Miss
Your turn.
Wow.
Wrap up?
I'm just so much amazed.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would like to close on this.
Mhm,
Let me say a very big thank you to our platform guests
mhm,
and especially to Mr. King. I really learned a lot today through his presentation on this platform. And I must say this that there are certain things people cannot take from you.
mhm.
And I tell you for free when you were speaking, it just signals something to me. And I know that you hold integrity that no one can take from you. So keep that and hold it tight. And to our brother too, thank you for really exploring the platform. I like that. And I appreciate each and every one of us, even our host. He been doing extremely well. And yes, we all have already good conversation here today. And it was not bias or not public sentiment and everything. It was to the point and it was so educational. So I appreciate you all and I look forward to having another forum where we will have to discuss deeper issues that affect Liberia and the youth of Liberia.
Thank you very much, everyone. I look forward to seeing us soon. Thank you. Okay, before we wrap up today, let's take a moment again to reflect on the bigger picture of what this show is all about. Imagine a Liberia where citizens are empowered with adequate information and resources to thoroughly evaluate their leaders, demand transparency, and hold public officials accountable for their actions. Also, imagine a society where young people eagerly utilize various creative communication tools and transform their anger and frustrations into constructive dialogue and inspiring works of art. That's the Liberia we envision. And to achieve this significant undertaking, we look forward to partnering with you, our followers, our supporters, Liberians from all walks of life, and in every corner of the globe. I will see you next time. Well, until we meet again, please take good care of yourselves and remember to be kind to everyone around you. Thank you very much.